Back in 2001, the triathlon world was rocked by a seismic decision. The largest Ironman in Europe was no longer going to be an Ironman. This is the story of that momentous decision and the company it would eventually spawn, which now hosts over 30 events in 20 countries around the world. The Challenge family. Ironman Europe, held here in Roth, was the first and most successful Ironman in Europe. Held from 1988 to 2000, it grew every year and was the host to some of the biggest performances by some of the sport's biggest names. The event actually started in 1984 as a shorter distance, 700 meter swim, 40k bike, 10k run, the Franken Triathlon or Franconian Triathlon. That first event in 1984 hosted 82 men and 1 woman. After 4 years of success here in Roth with the shorter distance, in 1988, Ironman came to town and increased both the distance of the event and also the event's prestige. 587 finishers finished that first Ironman, which was the first Ironman in Germany. On the speedy course in that first Ironman, Dutchman Axel Koenders finished in an amazing time of 8 hours 13:11, which was an Ironman world record at the time. And this started a tradition which carries on to this day of world records being set here in Roth. Today, the great race has grown to thousands of competitors and many thousands of spectators. But when the newly formed company that owned Ironman, World Triathlon Corporation, set about protecting its brand identity and capitalizing on the strong Ironman brand name by increasing licensing fees and organizational structure for race organizers, Roth's organizers decided that the demands placed on them, both organizational and financial, were too onerous. And they decided to risk it all on faith that the biggest Ironman in Europe was about more than just the Ironman brand name. But it wasn't all smooth sailing and it wasn't an instant success. In fact, no longer backed by Ironman and facing mounting debt, Roth's organizers scrambled to find a sponsor to stop the race from going away for good. Enter Herbert Walchshöfer, who had recently launched the Challenge brand with his wife Alice. He took over after Ditlevsen, who had grown the race from its infancy, stepped down as director. Walchshöfer managed to attract big sponsors. Quell, a German department store, among them, and changed the scope of the race, including allowing relays to attract more competitors, a novel concept in the triathlon world at that time, and enticing top pros with some appearance fees. A neck-and-neck battle between Lothar leader and Chris McCormack in 2003 solidified the race as one for everyone to watch, and one for the top pros to race. By 2010, the race itself, through a small team's dedication and passion, had grown to 2,600 individuals and 628 teams competing on the same day, the largest iron distance race in the world. Also by 2010, Challenge had grown from just one race into a series, with events popping up all over the world. This was led not by Herbert Walchshöfer, who had passed away in 2008, but by his family, Felix Walchshöfer, Catherine Walchshöfer, and their mother, Alice. They had grown the race into something much more, and they had launched the Challenge family. We sat down with Felix to get his thoughts on all of this.
I always worked in the race and I loved the race. I did triathlon myself. And then the decision was taken that Dad took over the race from his friend Detlef, who organized the race up until 2001. And then Dad took over. I was at the military service actually back then, and then Dad got a very seldom lung disease. And the decision was actually, should we stop with everything, or should I come in the company? Was quite crazy because I was working full-time Monday to Friday, and then studying Friday evening and Saturday, Sunday. And nowadays I would say there wouldn't have been anything better in my life to happen. We're concentrating on our strengths, and one of the strengths is a wonderful pro field. It will definitely continue down this way. Roth has always been the race with the biggest appearance fee pot. Yes, there is the T100, and we'll see how long they last, you know. Ironman Pro Series, which is a good thing for Ironman. But in Roth, we have 87 pro athletes, male and female. It's the biggest amount of pro athletes ever, despite it's getting more competitive, but competition is great, you know, and if the pro athletes benefit from it, it's awesome. But I can promise you something, there will never be a Roth race without the best of the best. We always concentrated on the best interest of this event. And with the best interest of the event, I mean the best interest of three stakeholders. It's our athletes, it's our volunteers, and it's our community. And if we keep on concentrating on those three major stakeholders, we'll always be there. It's always played by the media that me and the organization is always pro records and they're giving silly amount of money for world record bonuses and everything. But actually, the race has the records because we have so many great athletes, both female and male. And if they meet together, we have records, you know. And of course, the course is really, really quick. But for us and for me, especially coming Sunday, it's not about the record, you know. It's about individuals fulfilling their dreams, and there are different dreams from the pro athlete to the age group athlete, you know. And if a record happens, we are very happy. If it doesn't happen, we are not sad. You can see nowadays Ironman got away a little bit from their experience. Kona was the pinnacle, and I've been there 16 times. I was 16 years old when I went there the first time. It was like the voyage to the Holy Grail for me, you know. And now with the split and the slots are not going anymore in Hamburg, not even half of the slots were taken, you know. And we always focused on the athlete experience. And some also criticize us, you know, do we need a firework laser show display for 25,000 euro? For the triathlon, actually, no, we don't, you know, but it's the experience. Do we need a rock concert on Market Square for 10,000 people? Definitely not for the triathlon, you know. Do we need a Ninja Warrior parcours for the kids of the athletes? We all don't need that, but it adds to the experience. It again drives the community in full force to come, to experience, to celebrate, to welcome our athletes, to be there on the aid stations as homestay families, to be a spectator, you know. So we invest a 6-digit number every year to increase the experience. And I think it's a major, major thing. And Roth has only been grown so big because we always reinvested everything we earned in the athlete experience.
I don't think I've ever had a bad experience at a challenge race, and I've done quite a few of them. The brand, of course, exists in a very competitive environment for triathlon races and race organizers. The T100 is now pulling the pros away and making it that much harder to get a pro field, despite Challenge being the pioneers of appearance fees and good prize purses. And of course, they still haven't reached the same global brand recognition that Ironman has. However, they have a unique USP. They somehow managed to keep putting on events that are both competitive for the people who want that and friendly for everyone else.
We spoke to Zibi Szlufcik, CEO of Challenge Family for over a decade from its founding in 2013, and now president of the board.
Well, talking about the history of Challenge Family and Challenge Roth as a birthplace of Challenge Family, my connection to Challenge Roth is for many years before Challenge Family started. I built the brand Power Bar together with a friend of mine across Europe, and we were sponsor of the event in Roth. So we work closely with Ditlevsen and with father of Felix. And Felix came to me when he took over the CEO position for Challenge Roth and said, well, Zibi, could you help us to look at what Challenge means and how can we evolve moving forward? Yeah, 11, 12 years later, we have 40 races in 27 different countries. And I think we leave a long and lasting footprint in a world of triathlon. I think competition is a big word. Of course, you know, we are part of this ecosystem, and we are fighting for the same athletes at the same point of time. But my vision, my perspective, my way of looking at it, we focus on growth of the ecosystem, and we think that there is a lot of space to grow for anyone who is part of this ecosystem, if it's PTO, if it's Challenge, if it's Ironman or independent races. So our focus is to grow the sport. I think perfect example to me is Challenge Taiwan, where we started with a small race from scratch, and our race director said, we want to grow the sport in the country. Now it is the biggest race in the world with 8,500 athletes. Probably this is the biggest difference in our USP, that we are interested to work closely together with the local community, with the governmental institution, with tourism boards, with the National Federation. All of our races are under rules and regulations of National Federation. We host junior kids races like here with 300 kids, Wanaka, over 2,000 kids. This is the future of our sport, and I think our USP is all our races are obligate to use local services to leave long and lasting legacy here at the place of the race. Our race directors are always local, and I think this is a huge USP and very important to our hosting parties.
Have you ever done a challenge event? If you have, let us know in the comment section down below if you've done a challenge event and which one you enjoyed the most. And if you've enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up button to support the channel. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss all the rest of our videos.